Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, recruiting in yoga pants and LinkedIn top voice for 2022. I don't know how the hell I made the list either, but we will talk about that another time. Maybe I'll make a quick video about my experience being nominated for this prestigious award. It's a prestigious award. Okay, so we're gonna jump into this week's topic, which is a painful one, y'all. I actually wrote a post about this on LinkedIn as well, right before making this video, and we're going to talk about candidate experience. This is a good reminder, so just throwing it out there, that recruiters are candidates too, from time to time. There's exceptions, of course. You've got the, self-employed, run their own agency kind of folks, and that's wonderful for them. It's not something I was ever good at. I did it for a hot minute and it's too much paperwork. But anyway, for the most part, those of us who do work for an employer have gone through the interview process and have been candidates and have experienced the highs and lows of job search like everyone else. So I think it's really important for recruiters to remember what that feels like. And I also think recruiters should interview somewhat regularly. Nobody wants to waste anybody's time. Nobody wants to go interview for jobs they're not going to consider. But I just think it's helpful to remember what that process looks like and go through it and, smell your own body order, people. Apply to jobs on your own career site. Let me know how that goes. Right? Just get a feel for what your candidates are going through. So with that in mind, I want to share a story and hopefully provide some food for thought of how you can make some judgment calls of your own when you hit some of these weird situations. I am a big believer in recognizing the difference between data points and trends. We'll dig into that in a moment. But candidate experience, let's talk about it. If you've read the LinkedIn post, you already know this story, but basically once upon a time, I was a young, big tech recruiter. Okay, I wasn't that young. But anyway, I was working at Microsoft at the time and was doing some really cool AI, machine learning, really fun kind of stuff. And I was contacted by another big tech company, one of the FANG companies, I'll leave it at that. And they wanted to talk to me about an AI ML role, a recruiting role, where I would be recruiting people like I was bringing to Microsoft. And I thought, okay, might as well, it's what I'm doing today, but hey, it might be a cool opportunity, learn something new, get another big tech company on my resume. You know me, love checking those boxes. So I go to the interview and it was interesting. There was, they were late getting started and it was not the warm fuzzies that I had experienced at Microsoft and not the way I would have engaged a candidate coming on site to an interview, but I digress. And I remember just kind of throughout the day kind of feeling like, I don't think they like me. Am I too old? You just start kind of second guessing yourself and doubting yourself. And about halfway through the interview day, it was a series of one-on-ones as we do in tech. And about halfway through the day, I'm interviewing with this recruiter. And it was awkward and I was very uncomfortable. And he asked me a question and it was specific. I wish I could remember the exact details, but it was something about, how I would engage with really special people, these superstar PhDs. I think the word he used was luminaries in the field, whatever they were working on. And I gave an answer. I don't even remember the specific answer. I think I talked about, first, you do a lot of research and you try to, leverage, if any of your hiring managers are connected or you have some kind of network connection, someone that can introduce you or whatever. I don't remember exactly what I said. And the interviewer laughed at me. I want to, first of all, just remind everyone I wasn't telling jokes. I had given a serious, thoughtful answer, and he laughed and followed it up with, "You know, that was a really stupid answer, don't you?" Guess I know that now. So that didn't feel real good. That was kind of a downer for me. And I pretty much knew in that moment, like, yeah, I'm not going to get this offer. I was like, yeah, I could just chalk this one up to a waste of a day. So, it is what it is. And I go through the rest of the interview, and the final interview of the day was actually someone that I knew through, mutual connections and things, and, was excited to chat with this person because, again, kind of knew of him by reputation, and he was wonderful, sweet and warm and kind. And I kind of knew, again, this isn't going anywhere. So I actually shared with him and just said, hey, I already know this isn't happening. And I really appreciate you, taking the time to talk with me. Can I just share some feedback? Like, I just kind of need to get this off my chest. And so, we kind of did the initial portion, and then I got a chance to share that. And we had a really good conversation about it. And he was very kind. And so we finished the interview day, and I go home. And I wait a couple days, nothing, no feedback, no phone call, no email. And I reach out to the recruiting manager, who had been very responsive up until this point. And just, left a message, and then sent an email, and then finally just emailed and said, hey, I already know the outcome here. It's fine. I am self-aware. I understand that, I maybe didn't provide the insights that you were looking for, but I would love to share some feedback. Just one recruiter to another had an experience that didn't feel great. I just like to talk through it if you're open to that. No response. So I think the kids call that ghosting, right? It felt weird. And here we are, however many years later, I remember that. Like I can already feel myself kind of, shrinking into my chair and feeling, like my eyes are watering and feeling that, the heat rising. And I felt bad about myself. I'm a really good recruiter. Most days I have those days, but I've never questioned myself so much as I did that day and in the days following, when I just got nothing. Not even an email like, thanks, but no thanks. Not any kind of close the loop closure. And believe me, y'all, I get it wrong too. I am not perfect. I guarantee you could find more than one person out there in job search land that would say, Amy Miller ghosted me, or Amy Miller didn't follow up, or Amy Miller owed me something and didn't get back to me. I believe that that's true, and I'm sorry for it, and I'm trying to be better every day. But y'all, of the just many interviews I've been a part of, and certainly the many interviews I've been a candidate, that was the most demoralizing, depressing, and frankly awful experience I've ever had on that side of the desk. Now I want to break down why that was part of a larger trend, because I want to be clear. I want to be really clear. There are job seekers out there, and y'all can set your own boundaries. Don't get me wrong. You can feel however you want to feel about this. But I think that there are job seekers who will have one bad moment with one person and they throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Well, the scheduling coordinator at Google called me by the wrong name, and so clearly the entire company is staffed by horrible people and I will never work there. I mean, that's a data point. That's one not great situation. You have to kind of ask yourself, did the person correct themselves? Did they apologize later? Was the rest of your experience positive? You want to kind of look at, like, is this a single data point? Somebody had a bad day, somebody made a mistake, one person out of 7 people I talked to was kind of crappy? Or is this a larger trend? That's the thing I want you to think about. We can forgive, and we should forgive, mistakes, mishaps, stumbles. These things are going to happen. But when it starts looking indicative of the way a company runs their process, and every touch point is kind of messy, and there's no follow through, and I will tell you, the one bright spot was the final interviewer, who did allow me to voice these concerns and share, like, I gotta be honest, I feel really dumb right now and I don't know what to do with that. He was kind, and he was like, that's not what, we would want you to experience. We're sorry, whatever. Cool. But he wasn't the manager. Manager never followed up with me. Manager never closed the loop with me. I figured out I wasn't getting the job pretty easily. But there were multiple data points. There was me walking in and the receptionist acting like I was interrupting her when I was checking in. There was the first interviewer running double-digit minutes late. There was one of the interviewers who never made eye contact with me and just sat and typed at his computer the whole time and barely paid any attention to me. There was the interviewer who told me my answer was stupid. And there was the complete and utter lack of follow-up. Trends. If it had been one statement from one person, I wouldn't have accepted, because I wasn't going to work with that guy. But at least it would have been a single data point that I could have chalked up to one person who maybe was having a bad day. I'm not going to name names or, gossip or any of that. These people have all moved on. I don't know if any of those people are even at this company anymore. I may follow a couple of them just to kind of make sure and see where they're at and not go there. But anyway, I've told a few close friends this story, and they all guessed who the company was. Trends. Don't let one situation, one bad day, one rude person, one misguided scenario completely change your perspective on a team, a company, a role. But my friends, please do watch the trends. Candidate experience matters. We talk about it all the time. We're constantly trying to improve and be better. We all have bad days, and I'm asking you to forgive the data points, but don't lose sight of when those become repetitive. Let me know down below. Let's commiserate. Have you had a shitty interview experience and you want to get it off your chest? I'm here to listen, or at least read. Let me know in the comments. And as always, we'll see you next week.